You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Once again, we are joined by Neil Adler from Inside the Loud House. We are breaking down how Syracuse matches up against NC State. And then later on in the show, we're going to rant about how bad the special teams has been, but hopefully Syracuse can solve it. All right. Now stopping the NC State offense. Now, I think we can all presume that CJ Bailey, the true freshman, is going to be the starter. I mean, after what happened last week to Grayson McCall, everything seems to be okay, though. All the tests seem to be clean, which is thank goodness, because that was a very vicious hit that he took against Wake Forest. Once again, we can assume CJ Bailey most likely going to be the starter. How do you think Syracuse can get to the true freshman?
Well, I think what you just said there right at the end is an important kind of facet to this. He's a freshman, playing. Is he a true freshman or a redshirt?
True freshman.
Okay. So, and obviously they played, a handful of games now. So, and he's gotten some reps, like you said, and I think he's completing about 65% of his passes with a couple touchdowns, a couple picks. I think it's just pressuring him, rattling him, getting inside his head, getting Fidel Diggs off the edge and getting some more sacks. He was great last week against the Rebels. NC State's offense it's okay. I think they're averaging 27, 28 points a game. They're averaging around the same number of passing yards per game as their opponents. They're giving up more rushing yards than they're getting. So, I never want to be complacent or be, too overly confident, but NC State's offense doesn't scare me a ton. I think the real thing here is that Syracuse's defense this year has had some nice moments, but has also been inconsistent. And, I'm just going to look this up. They're giving up 26 points a game, which isn't great. And, it's obviously setting the edge and holding the run game down, and, the secondary doing its thing and just not committing dumb penalties and then, allowing the opponent to continue on with drives. But really just it'd be interesting to see how much pressure they actually send at Bailey, being a freshman and all that. But again, NC State isn't an overly daunting offensive unit. So I think if Syracuse, like you said, they have a nice balance on offense themselves, they presumably score points. Special teams has a little bit better day. But the defense, it's not like knocking my socks off, but I don't want to say it's a bad defense. They had some big stops against UNLV to keep the team in the game and ultimately win the game. And they've had some good moments throughout the year, but they are giving up a decent amount of points. So just pressure. I think really trying to establish that early and keeping the NC State home crowd at bay and scoring something early or getting a turnovers are always great, short field positions, that sort of thing. But just really attacking this freshman quarterback.
I agree with you on that. I'll take it a step further. I think the way to beat NC State and to really exploit them on defense is to make them one-dimensional and make CJ Bailey throw that football. He's been good. I complimented him on yesterday's podcast. Like, I don't think the game got any easier just because they're going to play the true freshman. Like, I think he's pretty good. He's looked good whenever I have watched him. He's completing 65% of his passes on over 100 passing attempts.
Right.
You can't sneeze at that as a true freshman. I kind of compared it to the UNLV situation when they had their backup quarterback in. Like, the game didn't get any easier, right? This is not a scrub in CJ Bailey.
No.
But if you can shut down their run game, I like Syracuse's chances of winning this game if you make CJ Bailey throw the ball 40 to 50 times. If you make him throw the ball 40 to 50 times, and you know what? They beat us. You know what you do?
You hand it to him.
Come on here. I'll get a cap and I'll tip it to him. Congratulations. You did it, right? It's like, don't make what makes them good beat them in a sense, almost like that. It's like if I'm sorry, I'm going to have to bring up this play that we all remember, but that 4th and 8 play or 4th and 9 against Stanford at the end. If someone else converts that other than Alec Manor, so be it. So be it. All right. The tight end got open over the middle of the field. The other wide receiver got open over the, like, whatever it is. It was just like, you couldn't, that's the one guy.
I know. No.
So with CJ Bailey, if you make him throw the ball 40 to 50 times, you make this team go one-dimensional. I like Syracuse's chances in this one. Also because, look, we're getting Marcellus Barnes back in the secondary.
Yes.
That's going to be big. That's huge. Less pressure on Clarence Lewis now as the number one corner.
Right.
They got some dudes on the outside.
Yeah.
Kevin Casey Concepcion, he's pretty good. I think he leads the country in catches right now. He's got 37 of them in 6 games. He doesn't have many yards. Very, very weird, his stats right now.
Right.
Very, very weird. He's got a lot of catches. And Justin Jolie, the tight end, is like a breakout for them. He's exceptional. You stop their run game.
Yeah, I agree. And Bailey, I was just looking it up. He obviously played a lot against, and they lost at home to Wake Forest, but he completed 2/3 of his passes. He had 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, one interception. But I agree with you. If he's throwing, 40 plus times, hopefully our secondary is just, locked in and maybe picks him off a couple times, or, I agree. Make them one-dimensional. It's a great point. It'd be interesting to see, how much they blitz, a freshman quarterback and kind of how he reacts to it.
Please don't rush 3 drop 8. I know it worked that one time against UNLV. It did work. I'll grant Elijah Robinson that it worked one time in overtime against UNLV. It worked. I think the issue is, what I've noticed is that they are moving oftentimes Fidel Diggs to a linebacker because of Marlo Wax being out. I think at times you need to turn him loose, and you just need to let him go on 3rd down. Instead of rushing 3 and dropping 8, how about rush 4, drop 7, right? And have Fidel Diggs coming off the edge.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is a great way to unlock the pass rush. A lot of people, including myself, think that King Joseph Edwards deserves a little bit more playing time. I'm not saying make him an every down player. Right. That's not what I'm saying here. But he's a pass rusher.
Mm-hmm.
And up until last week, he led the team in sacks with 1 quarter of play. I know it was Nick Holy Cross, but nobody else was getting sacks.
Yeah, no, so, he had a great, 3 sacks. Yeah, absolutely. And, obviously, you got McDonald in there at linebacker, and Barron's been playing more at linebacker as well.
Yes.
So, yeah, I agree with your points, but yeah, let Diggs run loose and get the king, as I like to call him. He's such a cool dude. Get him some reps. Absolutely.
Yes. Furthering reinforcing my point, NC State's not good at running the ball. They're not. So they're bottom 5 in the ACC in rushing per game, and they're bottom 5 in yards per carry. This is not a good running team. So,
but they're averaging more yards per game on the ground than Syracuse.
I know, and it's a very confusing. Well, that's really because I actually have the stat. Syracuse has thrown the ball more times per game than any team in the country. It's 48 times a game.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That is an obscene amount. So, of course, you're not going to lead the ACC in rushing. It's just not, the yards per carry is not great either, but again, they're getting sacked too.
Yeah, and I just look, both Syracuse, and you're right, the numbers are a little skewed based on how many times they throw it and all that jazz, but both Syracuse and NC State are averaging fewer than 4 yards per rush. So neither has been, tremendously great. Although, like I said, Allen obviously had a great last game, but it wasn't all on the ground. He's a terrific receiver. Oh, yeah. He showed that last year. So, they're not going to be top 3 in the ACC in rushing, but they need that. They need to hold on to that more just to keep other teams, just keep them guessing, just not, so they're not just dropping their whole team back and rushing 3 guys. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah. What do you think the magic number is for number of rushing yards Syracuse needs to win? Is it $150?
I don't know how many they need to win. I know that if LeQuint Allen gets 100 rushing yards in this game, they won't lose.
You think they'll be good? Yeah.
Oh, good. I can't see them losing if they get 100 yards from LeQuint Allen. Mm-hmm. Rushing, not total.
Right.
Rushing.
Yeah.
They look. I know it's probably going to be clipped and everything like that if Syracuse loses and LeQuint Allen has 175 yards rushing, but I'm honestly okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being on freezing cold takes for everyone to see, because I said that if LeQuint Allen has a monster game rushing the football, they'll win, and they still lose. Like,
well, there must be other factors at play.
And
it's
something
not
else
like
went wrong, and maybe it's what we're about to talk about, which is the special teams are a huge problem.